Several areas remain under signal number 1 as Typhoon Egay moves away from the country. The Philippine Atmospheric, Geophysical and Astronomical Services Administration says signal number 1 is still raised over Batanes, the northern portion of Apayao, Ilocos Norte, and the northwestern portion of Cagayan. Under signal number 1, minimal to minor impacts from strong winds are possible. According to Pag-asa, the southwest monsoon enhanced by Egay will continue to bring rains over the western portions of northern and central Luzon and southern Luzon in the next 3 days. Meanwhile, the tropical depression currently being monitored outside the Philippine Area of Responsibility may enter the Philippine Area of Responsibility on Sunday as a typhoon. However, based on the current weather outlook, Pag-asa says it is unlikely that this cyclone will directly affect the country. The Philippine Coast Guard confirms 30 casualties after a motor bangka capsized in Binangonan, Rizal on Thursday afternoon due to strong winds brought by Typhoon Egay. According to the PCG, motor bangka Princess Aya capsized 50 yards away from Barangay Kalinawan. In its initial report, the motor bangka was hit by strong winds around 1 p.m., causing passengers to panic and head to the port side of the motor bangka. This eventually led to the vessel capsizing. The PCG says 40 individuals were rescued while there are 30 casualties. When asked to clarify if all of the reported casualties are dead, a PCG official said it is still up for confirmation. The search and rescue operations are still ongoing. A 16-year-old boy was killed by a landslide early Wednesday that buried him and his parents along Barangay Bacakeng Central as Typhoon Egay dumped heavy rains and spawned strong winds. The Baguio City Public Information Office says the landslide happened around 10:30 a.m. on Wednesday. The 16-year-old son who was trapped inside his room was found lifeless and was retrieved around 12:25 p.m. on Wednesday. Rescuers managed to retrieve alive the boy's father, a 59-year-old construction worker, and his 48-year-old mother. They were brought to the hospital for treatment. President Bongbong Marcos has lifted the state of national emergency in Mindanao due to lawless violence declared during the previous administration, according to the Presidential Communications Office. According to Proclamation Number 298, the government has made significant gains in improving and restoring peace and order in the region. Through this proclamation, Marcos lifted Proclamation Number 55, issued by former President Rodrigo Duterte in September 2016. It states that lifting Proclamation Number 55 will boost economic activity and hasten the recovery of the local economy. Duterte issued Proclamation Number 55 in 2016 in view of the lawlessness in the region, as several private armies, local warlords, and even terrorist groups and religious extremists threatened parts of Mindanao. The following year, Islamic State sympathizers laid a siege on Marawi City in Lanao del Sur, sparking a 5-month battle with government forces. Senator Imee Marcos defends the decision of her brother, President Bongbong Marcos, not to address the West Philippine Sea issue at his second State of the Nation address. Senator Marcos, currently the Committee on Foreign Relations Chair, said that the issue between the Philippines and China in the West Philippine Sea should be approached in a pragmatic and prudent manner to de-escalate the growing tension between the two countries.
Perhaps that's what the President had in mind, that we all calm down, de-escalate tensions in the West Philippine Sea and in the Taiwan Straits. Not constantly talk about it and embark on a hopeless word war, but rather to exercise the utmost restraint and tolerance and prudence, at the same time opening as many lines of communication as possible and exploring all options available.
During the Sona, the chief executive renewed his promise to, quote, protect our sovereign rights and preserve our territorial integrity in defense of a rules-based international order. In response, certain groups expressed dismay over his silence. But Senator Marcos claims the country should open its communication lines and be creative and innovative in settling its differences with China.
Ang sabi kasi nung iba, let's stop poking the panda. Napipikon tayo, pikon na sila. Anong gagawin natin? Magkakapikunan tayo, mag-iinitan ng ulo, saan mauuwi yan? Instead, we should be grown up about all our resentments and our roiling angers, and instead try to do the very best to de-escalate tension at every opportunity.
Alamin naman natin ang mainit na balita sa mundo ng showbiz kasama si Irvin Santiago ng Bandera. Irvin?
Hi Neil at sa lahat ng mga kabandera natin all over the universe. Ito na nga ang latest Bandera Chika. Nagpasintabi rin ang aktres at dating beauty queen na si Bongbong Marcos sa mga original Dabarkads bago niya tanggapin ang hosting job sa 8 Bulaga ng GMA7. Aminado ang kapuso star na nakatikim din siya ng pambabash mula nang maging guest co-host sa longest running noontime show sa Pilipinas produced by Tape Incorporated. Ayon kay Winwin, may mga nababasa siyang hate comments mula sa mga netizens dahil sa pagtanggap niya sa offer ng pamilya Haloshos na maging bahagi ng 8 Bulaga. Pero hindi naman daw ito malala tulad ng natanggap na pambabash ng iba pang co-host ng show tulad ni Paulo Contis, Betong Sumaya, Buboy Villar at Isko Moreno. Sabi ni Winwin bago pa siya maging guest co-host sa 8 Bulaga ay nag-message muna siya sa mga dating host, kabilang na riyan ang TVJ. At naniniwala siya na naiintindihan naman ng mga legit Dabarkads ang kanyang sitwasyon. Sa ngayon, wala pang maisagot si Winwin kung magiging regular host na siya sa 8 Bulaga, pero wala naman daw magiging problema kung tuluyan na siyang magiging bahagi ng show. Samantala, naging madali naman daw para sa kanya ang mag-adjust bilang host ng bagong version ng 8 Bulaga at sa mga katrabaho niya sa programa dahil matagal na niyang kakilala at nakakasama sa trabaho ang mga ito. Tungkol naman sa 44th anniversary celebration ng 8 Bulaga sa Sabado, say ni Winwin pinaghahandaan na ito ng buong production.
Pero nabash ka rin ba nung nagsimula ka doon?
Hindi as much as
Others.
Parang third week na sila nung pumasok. Pero ganun pa din, syempre. Normal naman yun. Pero prior kasi ako naging mag-guest, nag-message din ako sa mga dating hosts.
Sa mga Dabarkads. Nagpaalam ka sa kanila?
Pasintabi. Nagpasabi din syempre sa kila Ossie. Wala naman, okay naman sila. Para for me, I just wanted to be in respect to them. Alam na mag-guest co-host ako doon.
At yan ang Bandera Chika natin today. Thanks Neil!
Maraming salamat sa Irvin. Here's the latest roundup of today's top stories. Typhoon Egay maintains strength as it moves away from the country. Signal number 1 still up in areas in extreme northern Luzon. And the RRMC says 5 people were reported dead due to Egay and southwest monsoon. Some affected towns still submerged in flood, thousands displaced. And President Bongbong Marcos lifts state of national emergency due to lawless violence in Mindanao. And these are the stories you need to know today. I'm Neil Mercado. Follow INQUIRER.net on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Reddit. For more stories, visit INQUIRER.net. Good evening.